Hey, comic lovers, welcome back to the show. We got a great show for you today. We're coming to you from our weekly yard sale here in my dad's garage, and we have a great show. But first, I want to introduce you to my co-host, our new co-host. This here is Thor. He is a German Shepherd. He's about 8 weeks old, and he's going to be joining us for a few segments today, aren't you, boy? Aren't you? Yeah.
So what is he, my replacement?
No, Thor here is going to be kind of like the Heidi to our Tim and Al. I would never replace you with a dog.
I'm Tim, right?
If that helps you. All right, today we're going to be talking about Robins, the history of Robins throughout DC Comics, from Dick Grayson all the way up to Damian Wayne. And we're going to also be talking about the different attributes of each Robin, what makes them so great, from their fighting skills to their detective abilities, all of the skills needed to make up the boy wonder. And we're going to be coming back to Thor here in just a little bit, too, for a segment, aren't we? Yeah. All right, hold on to your capes, kids. This is Back Issues. All right, comic lovers, we're going to go see Thor up in the garage in just a little bit. But first, let's get into today's topic. And we're talking about Robins, how they measure up, from Dick Grayson all the way up to Damian Wayne.
The boy wonders.
Yeah. And just to be clear, we're talking about just their careers as Robin, how they measure up. We're not talking about Nightwing or the Red Hood or Red Robin or any of those guys. So just their careers as Robin, and we're going to stay focused mainly on the big four.
All right, so the big four being Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and Damian Wayne.
There you go.
So, a little background. Dick Grayson started in 1940. The creators based his look on Douglas Fairbanks' Robin Hood costume.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they just made him look like a Red Robin. I don't know. They created him because for a year they've been doing these stories where Batman has some thought balloons and narrative.
Nothing to play off of.
No, nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
Nobody to have discussions with. Nobody to save. Nobody to crack silly jokes.
If you read Detective number 27, most of the writing is all narration. There's very little dialogue in it. So it gets kind of old after a while.
So Dick Grayson was a trapeze artist, and he was performing with his parents, the Flying Graysons, in a circus, when a mobster named Boss Zuko decided that he needed to make a point. He needed to send a message to somebody. So he had him killed.
Mm-hmm.
He had the parents killed right in front of them.
Had the acid poured on the wires that they were performing on, and unfortunately the Flying Graysons had a reputation for performing without a net, which ended up costing them their lives.
Bad idea, using that. All right, so Bruce Wayne in the audience sees this happen, identifies with Grayson because his parents died right in front of him. How could he not? So he brings Dick Grayson in and legally makes him his ward. Now, I never knew what a ward was. I mean, why didn't he just adopt the kid? I don't know, but he made him his ward. All right, second on our list is Jason Todd. He started out, and I'm going to go, his first appearance in the Robin suit was in 1983. With Dick Grayson growing up, going off to run the Titans, to do his own thing, the writers at that time realized, same as before, Batman needs somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
I mean, thought balloons get old. So, next thing you know, Batman goes into the alley where he left the Batmobile. Some kid's trying to steal the wheels off the Batmobile. The heck is that? Of all the cars on the planet, what car do you leave alone?
Batmobile. Yeah. I mean, whatever else you want to say about Jason, like his the wisdom and everything, but the balls on Jason Todd,
huge.
Yep.
Huge.
Can't say he lacks the hose.
So the problem with Jason Todd is the readers didn't like him. They liked Dick Grayson. They didn't accept the fact that Dick was moving on.
Mm-hmm.
So the writer back in 1988, a guy named Dennis O'Neil, decides, all right, let's put it to the test.
See just how much the fans don't like him.
And they had a poll for a month where if you called one phone number, if you call the other number, he's all good. So at the end of that month, the toll was 5,343 to 5,271 to he's okay. 72 votes made the difference. Now later, I've got a quote from Dennis O'Neil, and he said, I heard it was a lawyer who was using a Macintosh and lived in California. I obviously don't have hard information on this, but I heard someone out there programs computer to dial it every couple of minutes, and since there was only a 72 vote difference, that guy killed Jason Todd. So if anybody came up to him, no, not me, y'all. So later, in a series that EMoney really liked, Hush.
Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee, great team.
Supposedly, Jason Todd comes back. Turns out, just Clayface pretending to be Jason Todd to mess with Batman.
I remember that whole issue, getting goosebumps reading page to page.
Good stuff. But that wasn't him. Then in 2005, Jason came back in a story called Under the Hood, written by Judd Winnick. All right, number 3.
Tim Drake.
Your man, Tim Drake. He shows up in 1989. He was also in the audience when Dick Grayson's parents were killed. He could have been sitting right next to Bruce Wayne.
Right.
Who knows?
Don't try and do the math.
Don't try to figure all the years out because it doesn't work. It's
right.
Comic books. Years, time, no, it doesn't work. But at any rate, he being extremely sharp, what was the first thing that got him cued in?
Well, the first thing I don't know if the first thing, but he was watching Batman and Robin fight the Penguin on TV, and during the fight he sees Robin do a triple somersault, which he saw Dick Grayson perform during his time in the circus. So that's like...
not too many people can do a triple somersault. Can you?
No.
Not me.
I can't do a single somersault.
No, so I can fall down. So he starts putting clues together, figuring things out, and eventually he deduces who Batman and Robin are. So his next step, because that wasn't enough.
Right.
That would have been enough for me. I mean, Commissioner Gordon couldn't do it.
Supposedly.
Yeah, he knows.
But it was after Jason Todd's death, Tim Drake notices that Batman is being a lot more reckless, and he's taking a lot more risk, and he's getting himself hurt, really. So, knowing who Batman and who Dick Grayson is, he goes to Dick Grayson, tells him, I know who you are, I know who Batman is, and says, Batman needs Robin again.
And he makes friends with Grayson, not just tells him what he knows, but he makes friends with the guy.
Right. So Dick Grayson says to him, okay, I'll help, but I'm not going to do it as Robin. I'm not going to put the Robin suit on again. I'll help him as Nightwing.
So somehow he even gets tight with Alfred. And then next thing you know, he gets this engraved invitation to the Batcave. Starts out, puts the costume on.
Right. It was...
bad idea.
Yeah. It was during a fight with Two-Face. Two-Face blew up a building and it came down on Batman and Nightwing. So Tim Drake and Alfred rush to the scene and he puts on the Robin suit, the old Robin suit, Dick Grayson's Robin suit. And he has a short battle with Two-Face in which Alfred has to help him out. And
Alfred's badass.
Yeah. And he finds Batman and Nightwing in the rubble. And when Batman first sees him, he sees him wearing, Jason's Robin suit, and doesn't take it well, as you can imagine. He takes one look at him and he snatches the mask off of his face and goes, "You're not Robin."
Yep. So somehow your boy gets past that.
It takes some convincing for Bruce, but eventually he takes him on.
Well, takes him on. At first, he just sticks him in the Batcave running the computer because he's some sort of computer savant. I mean, kid make a computer dance. So that's the first step. Eventually, Tim gets Batman to start a training program. Well, Bats isn't going to have what happened with Jason Todd happen again. Not two in a row. So the training program he puts Tim through would make Navy SEALs cry. Okay? More than he did with Grayson, more than he did with Jason Todd. I mean, it's nuts. But the kid sticks. He doesn't quit. Next thing you know, he's robbing. And, he does a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But then Damian Wayne shows up, number 4 on our list. And let's face it, Batman's son's going to get an edge. So Tim becomes Red Robin, has his own career. Now, Damian Wayne, he started out, well, I guess as Robin 2006. He's the son of Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul, making him the grandson of
the Demon.
Ra's al Ghul. Whew, what a background. So he was genetically improved and gestated in an artificial womb. Do you think he had issues? I think he had issues.
I'd say so.
And then he was trained from the cradle by the League of Assassins. Chance of a normal life?
None.
No, not so much. At any rate, he shows up, introduces himself. Hey, I'm your son. Whew. That had to be a rough day in the Batcave. So, pretty soon you got Batman and son going out, doing stuff. Kind of like me and EMoney, doing stuff, right? Yeah.
Slightly different.
At any rate, so you got Batman. He's vowed not to kill unless it's a last resort, and then not even to save his own life, but maybe to save others he might. And then you've got Junior. If there's a problem, just kill him. No problem.
Take care of the issue. Yeah.
So how those two manage to coexist and work together is something you need to read. It's a good story. Good story. So later, Damian became something else. He became the second Robin to die. He was killed by a character called the Heretic. Well, Bats wasn't having that. He scooped up his corpse. I guess took a boom tube. Somehow got to Apocalypse with him. And then Darkseid or Granny Goodness, somebody resurrected him. Brought him back. And you got the dynamic duo again. So
there it is.
There's background.
There's the 4 Robins. Before we get into their different skills, let's talk about honorable mention Stephanie Brown, who is technically the 4th Robin. So Tim Drake, he wants to step away from being Robin, and it ends up falling to Stephanie Brown. And Stephanie, she has a bit of an interesting career as a crime fighter. She first started out as the Spoiler, who would be Tim Drake's girlfriend at different times.
You know where the Spoiler name came from?
I believe I do. She had a father who was a villain called the Clue Master, and whenever he, got ideas for a heist or some evil scheme,
she would find out about it.
And Stephanie vowed to spoil his plans,
which she did quite successfully.
So she had been Spoiler for a while, and then when Tim Drake stepped away, she decided...
I don't think Tim stepped away. I think he got temporarily benched.
Okay. And Stephanie takes up the mantle as Robin, but it didn't last very long because her and Bruce, I guess, were not a good fit because she was Robin for a few weeks, and on more than one occasion, she disobeyed Batman's orders, which, if you ever see any story in which Batman has a partner, that's just something you don't do.
No.
So she went back to being Spoiler after just a few weeks as Robin, and eventually she becomes the blonde-haired Batgirl. So, 3 different aliases, interesting crime-fighting career.
Pretty strong career. If we're going to do honorable mentions, I got to bring up Carrie Kelly. Carrie Kelly shows up in The Dark Knight Returns in 1986. And she's there during all 3 of the Frank Miller, Your Best Pal.
Frank Miller.
Yeah, those Frank Miller miniseries with the Dark Knight. Stories that I say saved Batman. I mean, sales on Batman were falling. Something had to revamp them. When he did the Dark Knight Returns, everybody wanted to read Batman again.
I would argue Neil Adams had something to do with that, but I guess Frank Miller played a part in it too.
So the story goes, 13-year-old schoolgirl Kelly, or Carrie Kelly, is in trouble. This sadistic gang is threatening her, and Batman swoops in and saves the day. Well, Carrie's so impressed by this, so enthralled, that she saves up her lunch money and makes her own Robin costume. I could do that.
Yeah.
I can make a Robin costume.
I was in the Halloween store earlier today.
Yeah. So she makes a Robin costume, starts following Batman around, and manages to keep up with him one day to the point where he's fighting that same gang. The leader of the gang is getting ready to kill Batman. She jumps on the leader's back, distracts him long enough for Batman to win the day. So, hey, want to be Robin? Sure, let's go. Next thing you know, he's got another Robin. So she goes on, sticks with him for 3 miniseries, and at the end of the 3rd miniseries, Carrie becomes Batwoman. So not a shabby career herself.
Nope. All right, so there's our honorable mentions. Now let's get into the different attributes of each Robin. So let's start chronologically with Dick Grayson. First, for starters, Dick Grayson was a natural athlete. He was a master acrobat, which gave him a great foundation for being a crime fighter. Mm-hmm. And he had to learn fighting skills and detective abilities, which he took to pretty quickly. And so great start there. Also, Dick Grayson was a natural leader. He demonstrated that when he was Robin and leading the Teen Titans. Obviously not the biggest power in the Titans, but
not even close.
Right. But just like Batman, he works well as a field commander. And also, during his time as Nightwing, he becomes kind of like the big brother to everyone else in the Bat family. Anytime they have a problem or a disagreement with Bruce, he's usually the guy they come to.
Yeah, he probably talked every one of them off a ledge at some point.
Yep. So that takes us into Jason Todd. And unfortunately, I don't think I have a whole lot of positive stuff to say about him that gives him an edge over any of the other Robins. His problem, we said before he has balls, so, no problem there. He was a bit more street smart than any of the other Robins, living on the streets as long as he did before Batman found him. But his problem was he had a lot of issues. He had a lot of emotional problems, and he was motivated by rage. And, he fought angry. And, that's just not a good thing to do when you're fighting the likes of, the Penguin or Two-Face. And he was cocky. He was a cocky sumbitch. He was partners with Batman, and he wore the Robin suit. He thought he was invincible, and he just, rushed headlong into danger every time, which is what caused Batman to put him on the bench several times.
It's also what got him blowed up.
Yep. Also got him killed by the Joker because he thought he could handle it himself. So, there's Jason Todd. He's got balls and he's street smart. That's about all I can say about him. Now we go on to Tim Drake. 3rd Robin, and Tim Drake is, for me, the most interesting of all the Robins, and he's the Robin that I think they made us like right off the bat, because we find out that he has deduced Batman's secret identity, Robin's secret identity, without any help. No one's told him anything. He doesn't have a inside line to Bruce Wayne or any of his associates. He does it all from a distance, so it's pretty impressive. And he figures it out. Well, he starts to figure it out as soon as he sees Batman and Robin on TV fighting the Penguin, and he figures it out from there. And for me, he was the first cool Robin, because he first debuted in '89, and I'm 5 years old. And I had seen Robin in other stuff before. I'd seen the Adam West TV show with Burt Ward, and he's wearing the classic Robin suit, with the short green shorts and the pointy elf shoes. And I also saw the Super Friends Batman and Robin show. So I'd seen all that, but Tim Drake was the first Robin I'd ever seen in the comic books.
You know what I liked about Tim?
Mm-hmm.
He was the first Robin who had parents.
Yes.
He didn't live in the Wayne mansion.
Mm-mm.
He had to sneak out at night to run around with Batman. And I think eventually his dad caught him.
Yep. Caught on to
Big
him.
problems.
Yeah. And, when I first saw Tim Drake in the comic books as Robin, he comes out in the Batcave and he's got the long pants, which has been bothering a lot of readers for years. And, he's got the cool black and yellow cape, and he had the flat top haircut, which I guess was cool back then. And, yeah, I mean, he also had the Robin symbol with the dagger edge at the bottom, which I thought looked awesome. So, yeah, for me, he was the first cool Robin, my first Robin in the comic books. So, I have to give it to, and, also his detective abilities. His detective abilities can rival Batman.
Oh, hands down, if you just want to talk detective skills, you got to give him the lead.
Mm-hmm. So there's Tim Drake. Then go into Damian Wayne. Now, Damian probably has the strongest foundation starting his career as Robin because...
Started younger.
Yeah, started younger, and he was raised by the League of Assassins and his grandfather, Ra's al Ghul. So definitely has the edge in fighting abilities during their time as Robin. His problem, though, unlike Jason Todd, he wasn't motivated by rage so much, but by instinct, and he had the killer instinct. You fight an opponent, you beat an opponent, and you kill them. You take care of the problem, which, Batman, had to, take that instinct out of him as quickly as he could. So there's Damian, definitely the best fighting skills, maybe lacking for deduction a little bit. Batman had to teach him a lot of that. So there's Damian. So where do they measure up?
Well, I think the best way to judge that would be pretend you're in trouble. You can call upon any of the four Robins to come help you. Now, obviously, if you don't limit it to just when they're Robin, let's get Nightwing in here.
Right.
Full-grown man. More experienced than the others, but you want to limit it to just when they were Robin. So, I got to go with the bad boy. I got to go with Damian. I want somebody that's going to do whatever it takes to get me out of this bind.
Well, I mean, Damian is definitely, like I said, has the fighting skills, but let's say in your scenario, like, you have to figure out where I am. Like, who's going to do that? And for that, I have to give it to Tim Drake. And one of the great things about Tim Drake is during one story, he actually outsmarts Ra's al Ghul. And when Ra's al Ghul realizes that he's beaten, you don't know how he's going to react. Is he going to attempt to kill Tim? Is he going to walk away? He looks at Tim and says, "Well done, detective," which is usually a name he only reserves for Batman.
Yep.
So I think that's a pretty big endorsement from
Heck of a compliment there, yeah.
Yeah. So for just overall scenarios, even your kidnapping scenario, I'm going to give it to Tim Drake. Favorite Robin. Well, best Robin.
I'm going to say Tim Drake needs to do all the detective work, and then Damian can come get me.
All right. So what do you guys think? Who is the best Robin during their Robin career? Dick Grayson, Damian Wayne, Tim, maybe Jason. I don't know.
Yeah, tell us in your comment section.
Yeah, leave it in the comment section. Also, we're always looking for ideas for future episodes, so let us know what you have in mind. We have a list of stuff that we're planning to do in future episodes, but we could always use some new additions.
Oh, please, yeah. Some of these ideas stink.
Some of the ideas he's not crazy about, or I'm not crazy about.
Man.
So
save me. Make some suggestions.
Leave it in the comments section. All right, let's toss it back up to Thor up in the garage. Hey guys, we're back out here with the garage sale with Thor, German Shepherd puppy. And we're going to play a new segment from my dad I like to call Stump the Old Man for obvious reasons. All right, I'm going to ask him 3 comic book related questions.
Why's it got to be 3? Why can't it just be 1?
Because I want to do 2 out of 3.
Oh, great.
Yep. Thor, you want to play?
Of course he does.
All right. All right, so best 2 out of 3 here, and never heard these questions before. I came up with them, and I had to really make it a little extra hard because some of the questions I researched, like, they're too easy. Thor, what you doing? What you doing? There you go. There you go. He's a hungry boy. All right. First question. Who was the first costumed superhero?
Well, first superhero that I'm aware of was Doc Savage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unless you count a tattered, torn-up shirt as a costume, I'm going to say that's not it.
Okay.
And Thor, you're going to have to go for a little walk, I think. Thor, do you know who it was? Well,
Any guesses, Thor? It wasn't Thor, in case you were wondering.
okay, no, definitely not Thor. I'm picturing Billy Zane in a purple skin-tight costume. I'm going to go with the Ghost Who Walks.
Ghost Who Walks, the Phantom is the correct answer right there. And this is also available for sale at our garage sale, and as well as other copies of the Phantom from.
A lot of Phantoms.
Yep. The Phantom was the first fictional hero to wear a skin-tight costume. He first appeared in a daily newspaper strip on February 17th, 1936. At its peak, the strip was viewed by over 100 million people daily. So there you go, the Phantom. All right. You need a treat to keep going, Thor?
I think he does.
Yeah, all this trivia wearing you out?
Where's my treats?
Next time. All right, guys, because we have Thor here, I thought I would ask a Thor-related question. Who was the first character besides Thor who legitimately, without cheating, lifted Mjolnir?
Let's see. You should know. You know its answer, don't you? You're not going to tell me.
Oh, easy.
Let's see. I know Superman picked it up.
Mm-hmm.
I know Captain America obviously picked it up.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wonder Woman picked it up. I refuse to count the Frog of Thunder because actually I think that was the same guy. I don't know who was first.
Okay. The first character to pick up Mjolnir besides Thor was Beta Ray Bill. He had the horse face. He was chosen by his people as his people's protector. And in a classic, misunderstanding of heroes, he fought Thor, and during the battle, he picked up Mjolnir, much to Thor's surprise.
Are you surprised?
Odin later crafted another hammer for Beta Ray Bill in order to protect his people, which he called Stormbreaker.
Which looks a lot like what Thor wields in the movie.
Right. So it was a little nod to Beta Ray Bill, I think, in the MCU there. Other people who have lifted the hammer have included Captain America, of course, Wonder Woman, Jane Foster, Conan the Barbarian, and
I forgot that one.
Yep, and Superman.
Treat.
Yep. Oh, you need a treat? All right.
There you go.
Boy, you being such a good boy.
I got your back, buddy.
All right, last question. You're 1 for 2. All right. What character teamed up with a different hero in almost every issue of The Brave and the Bold?
Well, Marvel duplicated it with Marvel Team Up, where Spider-Man was in almost every issue with some other guy. And then they liked what they were doing, so they did Marvel 2-in-1 with Ben Grimm the Thing teaming up with various guys. But let's face it, there was only 2 possibilities of who they could go with in their team-up book, Brave and the Bold. It was either going to be Superman. Hard to team Superman up with a lot of guys. So the obvious choice was the Batman.
It was, in fact, Batman teaming up in The Brave and the Bold. This one with the Spectre, also for sale at our garage sale. Brave and the Bold started out as an anthology series featuring characters like Robin Hood and the Viking Prince. But beginning with issue number 59, it became the team-up title featuring Batman and a different character each month. So there you go, 2 out of 3. Dad wins this round.
What'd I get?
And Thor gets another treat.
Somehow
There
I
you
think
go.
the dog is coming out on top.
All right, that does it for this segment of Stump the Old Man. We're going to come back for the next round next week.
I live for the moment.
Now, Dad's going to tell us what we have featured since we talked about Robin today. So we're going to show you what cool Robin titles we have on sale for next week, the 12th.
We have a Robin #1 from the 1993 series.
Robin #1. This one was really cool. This was the first time Robin ventured out on his own. It was Tim Drake, and this was during the time that Jean-Paul Azrael was Batman, who practically chased Robin out of the Batcave. So that one's kind of near and dear to my heart. It's okay, boy. Come here.
All right, next we have the Frank Miller and Jim Lee, Batman and Robin.
Oh.
It's a very different Batman.
Yeah.
Very different, but a beautiful book. Very well done.
If you ever talk to me, I'm not the biggest fan of Frank Miller, but other people like him. So we have that one there, and
here we have Robin War. I think it was the #1 of a 2-part series.
okay. There you go. All right, so we have those Robin titles, and like we said, we have thousands more comic books to choose from. So coming out September 12th, we start at 9 a.m. Rain or shine, please wear a mask. And, we'll even shoot the breeze with you if you want. Yep. Gonna be a great time. And now let's talk about what we have on the schedule for next week's show.
Once again, I cringe.
Next week's show, we're going to be talking about obscure comic book characters. Characters that a lot of people probably never even heard of. First come to mind, Dr. Emil Hamilton. Maybe Bibbo Babowski.
Bibbo.
Newsboy Legion.
That's not as obscure.
All right. So we're gonna have all kinds of obscure characters to talk about. So
We'll
if
come
you're
up with stuff.
if you're a fan of the obscure, come join us again. If you're a fan of comic books, come join us again. All right.
Evidently, if you're a fan
Yep.
of German Shepherd
Yep.
puppies, come
And
see us.
Thor will be back with us next week. All right. So see you guys next week. And Excelsior.
You stole my line. You
I
stole
know.
my line. All right.
I know.
Enough said.